Hello, I'm John Bachman. A spokesman for the German Pilots Association now says the Germanwings co-pilot who killed 149 people when he intentionally slammed into the French Alps should have never been inside that cockpit. Officials are waiting to get their hands on all the evidence before they say they're going to jump to any more conclusions. But a spokesman says if there was a doctor's note, the 27-year-old pilot should have never been on that plane. Dusseldorf University Hospital is now confirming that Lubitz was in fact a patient, but they won't say what he was being treated for. New reports today suggest that the Germanwings co-pilot may have been hiding an illness. Investigators say they found doctor's notes at his home excusing Lubitz from work, especially on the day of the crash. German aviation officials are borrowing a page from the FAA rule book. Officials have announced today that they will require 2 crew members in the cockpit at all times. Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid is now throwing his support behind Chuck Schumer to be the next leader of the Senate Democrats. Earlier today, Reid announced that he will not be seeking re-election next year.
It is inappropriate for me to soak up all those resources on me when I could be devoting those resources to the caucus.
Well, his next time around, he actually ran in the last election cycle. Reid still will be serving for 22 months. The Nevada senator was first elected in 1987. Here on Newsmax TV earlier today, over at the White House, the Obama administration says a Senate-passed budget proposal is simply a gimmick. The White House is criticizing the plan because of its cuts to education and job training programs. Earlier today, the Senate voted on and approved the measure. The plan cuts projected federal deficits by more than $5 trillion over the next decade. It's similar to a House bill passed earlier this week. As I mentioned here on Newsmax TV today, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz says a nuclear deal with Iran will only ignite a nuclear arms race in the Middle East.
This is the end of non-proliferation, and it's all Barack Obama's fault, the man who I voted for.
Secretary of State John Kerry is in Switzerland again today for more talks on Iran's nuclear program. The deadline for that possible deal is next week. In California, federal officials have arrested Fresno's deputy police chief on drug charges.
When things of this nature happen, it does serve to erode that trust and causes community members to lose confidence in their police department.
Well, the FBI says Keith Foster, a 29-year veteran, conspired to distribute prescription pills, heroin, and marijuana. Investigators compiled evidence over the course of a year using wiretaps and surveillance video. And more charges today for an Alabama police officer who injured an Indian man. A federal grand jury has now indicted Officer Eric Parker. He is also facing state assault charges. The confrontation was all caught on video. The violent stop left the 57-year-old citizen of India partially paralyzed. He's also received an apology from that state's governor. Another Newsmax Now update coming up for you in 30 minutes. I'm John Bachman. We'll now send it back to Midpoint with Ed Berliner.